Welcome to Enjoy Fort Wayne. This episode is brought to you by the Wailanai Farmers Market and highlights the 350 vendors that make up the #1 market in the state of Indiana.
Hey, this is Mark.
Hey, this is Cris with Old World Fudge.
Old World Fudge. So you are one of those vendors. I feel like there's a few vendors that sometimes people ask me like, oh, I didn't know much about them or I didn't know them. I don't think people are going to say that to me. They know you guys. You've been around for a while. What was the first year that Old World Fudge was in existence?
Oh, we started back in 2005. Yeah, we're getting 2005.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Okay, now are you guys originally from Fort Wayne?
Actually, I'm from Columbia City.
Okay, close enough.
Right.
I'm from Fort Wayne originally.
Okay, so basically, now was before 2004. Was that the goal? You knew that you wanted to make all these goodies and treats, or in 2004 did it just happen and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, this is taking off?
No, actually, that's actually kind of a funny story.
Well, that's why we're here.
Well, my family owns Woodland Water Gardens, and they install water features. And at the time, we were looking for something to do during actually the wintertime when you're slow. And we had gone to an IGC show up in Chicago, and that's where we met up with our fudge distributor, Calico Cottage. And they're like, this is a great way to bring people into your store during the wintertime. This is a good revenue. And that's kind of where it started. So I actually started with my folks, and we actually started in Glenbrook Mall. And from there, it just kind of progressed. We actually liked the business well enough because it could be mobile. And there's so many different avenues, because at this point we do fairs, festivals, farmers markets.
Of course.
We do country stores, so we're retail, wholesale. We do it all.
So let me ask you, you mentioned Glenbrook Mall. I feel like anyone that lives in and around Fort Wayne has been to Glenbrook Mall. Obviously, stores change so much. Do you recall, based on maybe where Sears, Penny's, LSA's, or whatever, like where, I'm trying to think if I remember where you were at.
We took over the Mrs. Fields store, the Mrs. Fields cookie store. That was right where Starbucks is. We were right behind there, where Lids is, actually.
Okay, I do know. So that is also by the bookstore?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Where
Correctly.
TGI Fridays used to be, kind of off in that area.
So right off of Jewelry Square, where you have all the jewelry stores.
Jewelry Square,
right.
yes.
And
yes.
I was actually started when the Disney store was still over there as well.
The Disney, you're taking us back. Those of you in Fort Wayne for a while remember the Disney store. Yes. Okay, so, I do recall, and so it wasn't one of the larger spots, right?
No,
I mean, okay. So that started you were at the mall in like 2004, you said?
Yeah.
Roughly?
Yeah, roughly about that time.
Okay, so at what point did you realize this is going from, okay, it's something that we're trying, we're going to try it out, to, okay, this is awesome, we have something going here, we're excited, we're just going to keep going, but this is what we want?
Oh, I would say probably about a year or two into it, we were pretty innovative. We started doing markets. We actually started with some shows, and we started with one of, which now it's funny, it started with one of our biggest shows that we've been at for almost getting close to 20 years. Is Covered Bridge Festival down in southern Indiana by Terre Haute.
Okay.
They run 1.5 million people. It's a 10-day show.
You're there all 10 days?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And how long have you been doing that show?
About
20
20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Man, does it feel in some ways that it's been like 50 years, and in some ways it feels it's been 10 minutes ago? Like,
no, we're always changing. Mark's come in, and we're really being innovative. You've got to change with the times. Even though we're old-fashioned, like an old-fashioned fudge, we make over 130 flavors, and we're doing some real, pop-up flavors. You've got to get the new generation involved, and you've got the new candies, and you've got the new advertising, and Mark is really great about working on all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now you got me curious. Give me an example of, you said you got to be new and like a new flavor for these generations coming up or something like that. Can you give me one or two examples of a flavor that is more like goes with 2024?
Raspberry jelly donut we released
Yes.
this
Oh.
year. Pistachio. What else, Mark? We've got some other unusual flavors that we've been releasing here.
Chocolate mint swirl's really good. Tastes like Andy's mints.
Yes. Do you remember going to Olive Garden? I don't know if they still do it, and you get the right. Is that
Yes.
Yep.
so? I used to, I used to grab those at Olive Garden, eat mine, and very meticulously package it back up and ask my parents if they wanted mine because I could wrap it just so,
That's awesome.
and they would fall for it well, maybe they wouldn't fall for it. They were just, letting me have my fun. But I
Yes.
distinctly
Yeah.
remember doing that. So I love that. I do want to try that. So, okay. So you guys didn't bring any candy for me to sample?
Oh my gosh! You should have asked.
No,
that.
I
We would have
don't.
brought you some.
No, I don't
Actually,
need it.
she's been really super busy getting ready for the Home and Garden Show, which is Wednesday setup. So
Yeah, a few vendors I talked to last Saturday we're going through that too, and that's a lot of work. I was talking to some of the vendors, and that's going to be big
yeah,
for you guys then too, huh? Okay,
Yes.
so okay, I want to go through more of on the business end. What would you say? Not necessarily sweets, candies, eats in general, but in running a business, if someone came to you and said, "Wow, we heard the show. We see that you've been around for a long time, and we're thinking of starting a business. Has nothing to do with Fudge or anything, but just in general, they're gonna want to get their business going." What advice would you have for someone?
I would tell them to do something that they enjoy, because you live, breathe, eat what you do.
Well, you
And
definitely eat.
When
Do
you
yes,
when you're a small business owner,
It's a great
you
company,
Do, you do
Fudge.
everything. Yeah, absolutely. But you do everything. So you're the accountant. You do the marketing.
Sure.
You do the sales. I mean, you hire the people. You make the product. So as a small business, you wear a lot of hats. So just be prepared to do something that you enjoy.
Yeah,
it also helps to have a normal job in the meantime. If it's something you can do on the weekends to get started until it picks up, that way you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
I was just gonna say the eggs in the basket thing. Yeah,
Yes.
like I was blessed to do that with my media company. I have the bus and stuff.
Mhm.
I was able to jump into that because of my situation was way different in that I don't have kids and stuff like that
Right.
to provide for, and it's a little bit different. Most people aren't able to just quit I was doing 9 to 5 selling insurance.
Oh, yeah.
And most people, and that's pretty good money. I mean, most people don't have the means to just say, well, I'll just be sure to make it. I'll just, I could. And so I was lucky, and it's worked out now because it's
Yes.
been some time now. But most people aren't in that situation. That's a good point, that you can't rush into it as far as saying that's your end all be all. You rush into it as far as do something if it's really what you want to do,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
have not necessarily like a backup, but just something for income to keep you going. If you're passionate about it, doing it on the weekend shouldn't matter because you're passionate about it, right?
Correct.
And so
Right.
that's great advice.
It also helps if your partner, your spouse, your other half is supportive. We work together. So, and what his strengths are kind of my weaknesses, and what my strengths are his weakness. So it balances each other out.
Good
So
team.
it's
I run in the
teamwork.
background behind her, around her, and try to, help get the stuff set up, loaded up, unloaded, etc.
What's interesting is right before we started this show, you were kind of saying, well, I'll just be in the background and she'll maybe say more. And so far, I mean, you said a lot. That's great. Like, we want to hear from you too, but
Okay,
it's been
yeah.
good. Yeah.
I'm
That's funny.
nervous, a little nervous.
That's totally fine. I get that. So yeah, that's good advice though. Basically to be passionate and to enjoy what you're doing, because you'll
Absolutely.
burn out. We've talked about
Mhm.
burnout a lot with different vendors, that it's a thing. Even if you truly enjoy what you do, you can still get burnout, let alone if you don't enjoy it. So that's huge.
Now, our business, there's so much diversity that we can change up. So not only do we have a brick and mortar, we also have our shows we do on the road. We have wholesale. We have marketing. So if you get tired of doing one thing, we can hand it off and do something different for a while. Because sometimes you have to step back and look at it from a different perspective.
So speaking of that, I want to dive back a little bit and get into the difference between when you started, when it was it basically just you two doing literally everything, and has evolved to, at the market, I've seen other people besides you.
Oh,
So I know obviously there's more people involved, but walk me through what that looks like. And am I right to assume that when you first started, it literally was no one else but just you two?
Yeah, Mark came on board several years ago. But in the first years, it was me and my folks, and then they moved away and decided to do some other things, and then we've been together and have done that. But there's been people along the way, finding key people to help you. You can't handle everything on your own. We have some fantastic people that work with us, that go out and do the shows. Some people are born salespeople, and they do fantastic at it. Some people are behind the scenes and they want to work and help make candy and do that, and they're totally fine with being behind the scenes. We have a little bit of both, so we kind of cater to the strengths, and people come to us.
Yeah. So what is something that you've learned about, I feel like even with my own business too, like there's a fine line between, okay, I can get from Monday to Sunday, I can get X amount of work done myself. I hire someone else, I can get 2X done or whatever, but then there's that fine line where if the person isn't doing what they should be doing, now it's counterproductive. Like I see you kind of nodding your head. Like what is some advice for some of these vendors? Because you are someone, we've had a lot of vendors on the show that are new, that are less than 2 years being a vendor. And so it's like, you're like, oh, that's adorable. They don't even know it's going to be like this and this, right? It's like, you've been there. So I want to talk about that a little bit. What's some advice that you can give to the vendors? Because a lot of vendors come up to me and tell me that they listen to this. And so I want to give them some advice, but it ain't coming from me. So what would you guys say to vendors who are, 2 years or younger? What is something as far as either hiring, or what's something they should be looking out for? What's something that maybe you wish that you guys would have done earlier that now you see you could have done it, but you just didn't know? Anything like that?
Don't try to bite off more than you can chew, so to speak. Make sure it's stuff that you can oversee and you can handle, because we've learned the hard way a couple times that if you get out there too far with too many things going on at one time and you can't oversee the operation, you end up backtracking, and then you have to go do this and that and the
Double
other.
work.
Yes.
It's counterproductive.
So the money you think you could have made, you're spending in fuel, labor costs, trying to go around and
fix the mistakes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So really, finding that person that can take off some of the minimal things that they can focus on and be productive at. So some of the things that you can give to other people. Some people have a lot of, they need to have control of everything, but there are some things that you can give to, someone who's working with you and training them and getting them to do some of the things that, what any person could do.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely some things when you just have to pick and choose in your business. What can you train somebody or have somebody else do that's kind of like monotonous? I call it peon work. That is something that anybody can do. So those kind of things, if you can shift those to some people, and you still have to oversee.
Right. Either weekly or bi-weekly, go through those 7 medial tasks and just make sure that they're done or whatever.
It's really hard to step back and work on the business and not in it. And that's where
big.
you need to go. And as you become a business owner, and as we start to step back and say, okay, how to broaden that, we have to give certain tasks and things over to people who can handle that, and then we need to step back and work on the business.
on the business, not in the business.
Yes.
That's huge. No, I
Mhm.
love that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more now about the Wow and I Farmers Market. When did you first hear about it or know about it, or walk us through that story?
Oh boy, it's been so long ago. We've been there forever.
When did you start?
I think we've
Do you
been
know?
there about 15 years. I think we're in our 15th year at the Wild Eye. And we started when it was just really under the canopies and there wasn't much, and now we've grown. You know, we're down 3 streets, the other parking lot, our parking lot, it's so large. I think we actually, I was going to say about 15 years ago, we started branching out thinking that would be a good key thing at a market, because nobody at that point in time was doing, chocolate, sweets, things like
Sure.
that. It was a lot of bakery. There was, confection, or not confection, but there was more bakery in your produce and things like that. But there really wasn't a lot of sweets at that time.
And was it a hit from the beginning, or was there second thoughts about, well, maybe next year we got to do something different? And
We always have to change. You start finding out what people want. So you have certain markets where you go and it's very traditional, and they want your chocolate and your peanut butter, and they want this. Now we're seeing the changeover where grandma and grandpa aren't coming maybe so much anymore, but now the kids are coming and the grandkids are coming, and now they're wanting
glazed
the
jelly
flavor.
donut.
They want,
Right.
the raspberry jelly donut. They want the lemon cream. They want the pistachio. They want
Different
they
type
want
of
the,
stuff.
Yeah.
And
So there's a big changeover. But a lot of shows and things we still see kids come with the list and they say, Grandma sent me. They can't come anymore, but they want
nice.
this.
Yes.
They
And now
still
here's
want
for
them.
our family. So it's
Okay.
become tradition in a lot of places.
That's really cool. I was going to say, maybe I'm bad. I would want both. I want the classic, like, regular fudge or
Mhm.
just regular peanut butter,
Mhm.
whatever. But I kind of want to try some of these other stuff then, too. So I want both. So have it ready for
Yes.
me.
We'll make you some Carolina Reaper fudge. How will you do a spicy?
Okay. Carolina Reaper.
That's the hottest pepper in the world.
I was going to say, you sell a lot of that stuff? People think they can
we
handle
make it
it.
for special things. Well, sure, we do like a bruise and bruise.
You try and talk people, like, out of it a little bit. Like, all right, now you know.
We have to be like, hey, this is hot. So if you're into hot, okay, but
And it's chocolate, so
Yeah.
you don't think.
Well, when
But
we
it's
do
good.
Well, at least chocolate goes with milk, and you're gonna need it. you're
right,
gonna need
Milk's-
milk.
Yes,
is
milk
the-
is definitely the thing to cool you down.
Yeah.
But you go to like Bourbon Fest and you do like bacon fudge, where you do chocolate
Oh,
bacon,
yeah.
maple
Yeah.
bacon fudge.
dipped in
know,
chocolate. It's
we do
awesome.
blueberry festival, so you gotta do blueberry fudge or blueberry cheesecake fudge. Wherever at apple festival, we do a caramel apple pie. You do whatever your setting is.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Regarding the farmers market, what has kept you there? You're one of our longest tenured vendors. Why do you keep coming back?
Oh, it's the customers. Definitely the customers. They come up, they make your day, and the other vendors too. I mean, everyone there is family. Everybody's very helpful. You see the people that have been there for a long time trying to help the new people. They come up and ask me all the time, how'd you do this? How do you do that? We get questions all the time. And the market itself, it's run, very well. Ashley and you guys do a great job. And it makes things very easy and very smooth for vendors
Yeah.
like us.
It starts at the top with Ashley. She truly is amazing.
She
I
is.
mean, all the vendors say that they feel good about she lets them do their thing. Like, she
Mhm.
gives you your spot and stays out of your way. And she's
Mhm.
there to communicate if you have questions and whatnot, which once you kind of get going, you kind of know what you're doing and you may not have
Mhm.
many questions, but she just lets you do your thing. And that doesn't always happen at other markets, is what I'm hearing from other vendors that come sometimes. They're like, we were at this spot and it wasn't like that. Ashley's great, and I don't know, because that's all I've worked with, so
Sure.
I don't know what to base it off of, but that's really cool. I mean, people all say the same thing, that, oh yeah, Ashley's great to work with, and it's great. So yeah, I love that. Okay, so we're winding down to one of the last questions, and it's always the same question, and so you may or may not know what it is. But I'm interested to see what you can either team up and kind of have one answer. Or you can, if you feel that differently, I'll let you play it by ear. But the question is, one of the longest tenured vendors. And so what happens is we're pretending that the mayor comes to you and says, you are one of the most sought after vendors. We appreciate what you guys do. And we have a special chore for you guys to do for the city. We are making you come up with a banner that's going to be over the entire city of Fort Wayne. And it's going to say whatever you want it to say. And it's going to be displayed for all of the 260 to see. Now, you can answer what is going to go on this thing individually, or you can answer it, you can kind of compare notes, if you will, and say, okay, as Old World Fudge, here's what we would like to say. Now, here is, I'm putting you on the spot, and I get that, but here are some of the ways that you can go with answering. You could answer it as the business, like, eat more fudge, right? Like that could, like, okay. And that's marketing, right?
Right.
It could,
Right.
Or it could be more of a kind of a positive message, if you will, to the, to our 260 area, so where it have nothing to do necessarily with fudge. It could be either. So do you guys want to try and get together on this? Did something stick out right away already that individually you want to be able to say? What do you guys think?
I mean, mine is just a basic one, but it'd be, please be nice to everyone.
I was
That's a
thinking
good
kind
rule.
of, may your day be sweet.
Yeah.
Or
I see what you're doing there.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
You know.
yeah. That's good marketing. By
That's
the
There
way.
you go.
that is really good.
Life is too short. Eat something sweet. There you go.
There you go.
I like both those. So we could arrange it where maybe yours goes on top. Please be nice to everyone. Okay. And then life is too short. Make sure you have something sweet, or
Make sure
something
you
like
sweet.
that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Never had a good combo answer like that, I don't think. I mean, that's pretty solid.
Keep calm. Eat fudge.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. Like, like the, what is that? And it's spelled wrong on purpose. Eat more chicken, the Chick-fil-A. Is that?
Chick-fil-A, yeah.
Like, eat more fudge.
Right.
Like, that could be a thing. But I like the combo. So that's really good.
That's cool.
So, Saturdays 9 to 1 at the Wildlife Farmers Market. We are still indoors at 1501 East Berry. Where else? Give us all the details of where else we can find you, not only brick and mortar but online and all that as well.
Sure. You can find us. We're at 202 North Chauncey Street, inside the Shops of the Sanctuary in Columbia City. That's our brick and mortar. You can find us at Three Rivers Soap Company. Amy Christina carries our products there. You can find us at The Process, Josh's Jungle up in Huntertown.
I've been there.
You can find us up at BFM up in Waterloo, Burgers, Fries, and Milkshakes.
Okay, I didn't know
so
that.
you can find us at several places, but fairs, festivals, craft shows, of course, the Wild Knife Farmers Market every Saturday, and you can find us at the Fort Wayne Home and Garden Show this weekend.
Yep. Awesome.
Usually from here to Indianapolis, we're there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, of course, this and every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., catch these guys at the Wild and I Farmers Market. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Adam.
This podcast is brought to you by Coraggio Media. The show is edited by me and sponsored by the Wild and I Farmers Market. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest updates. We will see you next week, where we will be sure to show you how you can enjoy Fort Wayne.